This is Jonathan Cahn. Welcome to my YouTube channel. When you look at what's happening in the world, it's easy to wonder what's going on, and are things out of control? Is this what the Bible foretold? Is the end near? What do I need to know about the future? Where's it all going? How can I be prepared? What is God's prophetic word for the hour and for me? On this channel, you're going to find prophetic updates, the mysteries of God, daily words for life, biblical revelation, prophetic teachings, and much more. I pray it's going to be a great blessing to you in the days ahead. So be sure to hit the subscribe button and tap the bell icon so you're notified every time there's a new video that's posted. Leave a comment as to how God is blessing you. And don't forget to share these videos with friends who need to hear them. Thanks again, and God bless you. Shalom.
My friends, there are moments in history when heaven sends a final trumpet blast, not with sound alone, but with signs. Signs that whisper, signs that shout, signs that declare the time is at hand. From the beginning, the prophets spoke of a moment, a final gathering, a catching away, a meeting in the clouds. And they warned that before that day, there would be signs in the heavens, signs on the earth, signs among the nations, and signs among God's people. And now one of those signs has just appeared. In the ancient days, when a bridegroom came for his bride, there was a cry at midnight, "Behold, the bridegroom comes, go out to meet him." But that cry only came once, and it was the final call before the wedding. In the same way, the last sign before the rapture is not random. It is appointed. It is as if the scroll of prophecy is being rolled shut page by page, and only one page remains. And now, before our very eyes, that page is turned. Consider the patterns. Israel restored to the land. The fig tree blossomed. The nations aligning, as the prophets declared. The world descending into lawlessness, as it was in the days of Noah and Lot. And now, the sign that comes before the voice like a trumpet has been set in place. This sign is not simply a headline, it is a convergence. A moment when the shadow of eternity crosses the clock of man. The final piece of the puzzle has slipped into place, as quietly as a thief in the night, and yet as loudly as the shofar of heaven for those who are awake. It means only one thing. The door is about to close. The cry is about to go forth. And the one who promised, "I go to prepare a place for you, and I will come again and receive you to myself," is even now at the threshold. Do not be found sleeping. Do not be found chasing the things that will pass away. Lift up your head, for your redemption draws near. The last rapture sign has appeared. The time is now. The message of prophetic urgency is not merely a theme. It is the heartbeat of the entire call. It is the realization that we are not living in an ordinary moment in history, but in a threshold moment, one that stands between the ordinary flow of time and the breaking in of eternity. Prophetic urgency comes when the words spoken long ago by the prophets, apostles, and by the Messiah himself begin to come to pass before our very eyes. It is not built on speculation or random fear. It is rooted in the clear patterns God has revealed through his word and in the alignment of events that bear his unmistakable fingerprints. From the earliest days, Scripture has warned of a final generation, a people who would live to see the signs that would immediately precede the great and sudden gathering of God's people. This urgency is unlike the natural rhythm of waiting and watching that has defined believers for centuries. It is the heightened awareness that the signs have shifted from being distant markers to being present realities. Like a watchman on the wall who once saw the faint glimmer of movement far off. We now see the dust of the approaching procession kicking up in the streets, just outside the gate. Prophetic urgency grips the heart when one understands that God does not allow his appointed times to drift endlessly. Every divine event in history, from the Exodus to the birth of Christ, from the destruction of the temple to the rebirth of Israel, happened at an appointed moment. The God who said, "At the appointed time I will return," has not lost control of his calendar. And when his prophetic clock nears the striking of the hour, it is the duty of the watchman to cry out. The difference between ordinary expectation and prophetic urgency is the difference between waiting for the rain someday and seeing the dark clouds already gathered overhead, smelling the scent of water in the wind. It is no longer about if. The storm will come, but when and when is not a distant thought but a present reality. Urgency comes because the signs are converging. Events that have taken thousands of years to align are now in place simultaneously, as if the author has brought all the actors onto the stage for the final act. This urgency carries both warning and invitation. It warns that the time for hesitation is slipping away. The window of grace is still open, but it will not remain open forever. It invites every hearer to step into readiness, to make sure the oil is in their lamp, the garments are without stain, the heart is without distraction. Just as the 10 virgins in the parable heard the cry at midnight, and either rose prepared or were left behind, so too will this final sign draw a clear line between those who are watching and those who are sleeping. Prophetic urgency is not meant to paralyze, but to mobilize. It stirs the spirit to action, to speak the truth with boldness, to walk in holiness, and to live as if the trumpet could sound at any moment. It removes the illusion of endless tomorrows and replaces it with the clarity that today may be the last day before everything changes. This is the heartbeat of the call to awaken before the final blast, to recognize the moment for what it is, and to be found ready when the heavens open and the bridegroom appears. In the ancient world, the image of the bridegroom coming for his bride was more than a wedding tradition. It was a prophetic shadow, a living picture of the greatest event that will ever take place for the people of God. In the villages of Israel, when a young man had chosen his bride and the covenant had been sealed, he would depart to his father's house to prepare a place for her. She would not know the exact day or hour of his return. She only knew he would come. And when he came, it would be with the sound of a shout, often in the dead of night, announcing to all who could hear, "Behold, the bridegroom comes! Go out to meet him." This cry was the final moment before the wedding feast began. And for the unprepared, it was too late to get ready. The scriptures use this imagery deliberately to describe the return of the Messiah for his people. It is not just a poetic metaphor, it is a divine pattern woven into the very fabric of Hebrew life to point forward to a greater reality. The midnight cry represents the last call before the great gathering, the rapture. Once the cry is heard, there is no time left to prepare. You must already be ready when it comes. The power of this picture lies in its finality. The bridegroom did not circle the village for days calling out. He came once, and he came suddenly. In the same way, the last call before the rapture will not be stretched across decades. It will be a single, unmistakable moment, preceded by signs for those who have eyes to see, but missed entirely by those who are distracted. The warning is clear. The moment will not wait for you. This parallel speaks not only of the event itself, but of the heart condition of the bride. In the ancient tradition, the bride would live in a state of continual readiness. She would keep her lamp filled with oil, her garments prepared, and her ears attentive to the sound of the cry. This was not a life of panic, but of anticipation, a life shaped by the certainty that her beloved would come. Every day she lived was influenced by that expectation. She knew that when the cry came, her waiting would be over, and she would be taken to a place prepared just for her. The prophetic meaning is just as clear for us. The people of God are the bride, and the Messiah is the bridegroom. His promise is sure. I go to prepare a place for you, and I will come again and receive you to myself. But the warning is also sure. Only those who are ready when he comes will be taken. The midnight cry will divide the prepared from the unprepared, the watchful from the distracted, the faithful from the complacent. In our time, the signs that the bridegroom's approach is near are multiplying. The world stage is aligning with prophecy. The moral darkness deepens like the gathering of night, and yet within that darkness the final cry will come. It will be sudden, it will be loud, and it will be irreversible. Therefore, the call is to live as the ancient bride did, not in fear, but in readiness. Keep the oil of the Spirit full in your life. Keep your garments unspotted from the world. Keep your eyes fixed on the horizon, for when the cry rings out, there will be no more time to decide. The bridegroom is coming, and he will not delay. The signs that mark the approach of the great and final gathering are not scattered, random events. They are converging like rivers flowing into a single sea. This is one of the clearest markers that the hour is late. The patterns and prophecies that were once unfolding in isolation are now unfolding together. Convergence is not coincidence. It is the signature of the author, orchestrating the movements of nations, the rise and fall of powers, and the unfolding of events to bring all things into alignment with his word. For centuries, watchmen could point to one sign or another: the regathering of Israel, the increase of knowledge, the spread of the gospel to the nations. Each of these was significant, but they were like single stars in the night sky, each shining on its own. Now, they have formed into a constellation, connected, deliberate, undeniable. The rebirth of Israel has already taken place. The Jewish people have returned to their land, and Jerusalem once again stands at the center of the world's attention, just as the prophets declared it would. At the same time, we see nations aligning in ways foretold long ago. Alliances are forming that mirror the ancient prophecies, even among nations that once had little to do with one another. The tensions in the Middle East, the rise of powers in the north, the unrest among kingdoms, and the shifting of global influence. All of these movements echo the ancient words. The scriptures speak of a time when the nations would be drawn into position, like pieces on a chessboard, each move bringing the game closer to its final moment. That time is now. Alongside these geopolitical signs is the moral and spiritual climate of the world. Lawlessness is not only increasing, it is celebrated. Darkness is not merely tolerated, it is embraced. The days are becoming as they were in the times of Noah, when violence filled the earth, and as in the days of Lot, when corruption and immorality were rampant. These are not simply cycles of history. They are prophetic indicators that the world is ripening for judgment and that the rescue of the righteous is near. When these three streams, the restoration of Israel, the alignment of the nations, and the moral collapse of society, merge together, they form a river that flows directly into the final events foretold by God. This is convergence. It is not a slow process stretching endlessly into the future. It is accelerating, like the last seconds of a clock ticking faster as it approaches the hour. The patterns are intensifying, the signs are multiplying, and the space between them is shrinking. The danger is that many will see these signs and yet fail to recognize what they mean. Just as in the days of the flood, people will eat, drink, marry, and carry on with life as though nothing unusual is happening, until the moment comes and it is too late. But for those who are awake, convergence is the trumpet call before the trumpet. It is the signal to lift your head, to purify your heart, and to fix your eyes on the one who promised to come. When all the streams of prophecy join together, there is no going back to the days when the signs were isolated. The river is moving swiftly now, and it is carrying the world toward its appointed destiny. The convergence we see today is not the prelude to a long wait. It is the announcement that the wait is almost over. The bridegroom is near, and every sign now points to the same conclusion: the time is at hand. History is not an endless, aimless scroll that unrolls without purpose. It is a divine manuscript written before the foundation of the world, and every event moves us closer to the final chapter. The prophets described the unfolding of God's plan as a scroll sealed until the appointed time. In that imagery lies a truth. Each event, each sign, is like the turning of a page. For thousands of years, page after page has turned from creation to the covenant with Abraham, to the giving of the law, to the birth, death, and resurrection of the Messiah, to the outpouring of the Spirit, to the scattering and regathering of Israel. And now the scroll stands nearly shut, with only the last page remaining. That last page is not a vague or hidden thing for those who have eyes to see. It contains the final moments before the great gathering, the rapture, and the judgments that will follow. The reason the imagery of a scroll is so powerful is that once the final page is read, the story as we know it will be complete. You cannot go back and rewrite it. You cannot pause it midway. The author himself will close it with his own hand. In the realm of prophecy, the turning of each page has been marked by unmistakable signs. The return of Israel to its land was one such turning, a monumental moment after nearly 2,000 years of exile. The recentering of Jerusalem as a point of global controversy was another. The rise of lawlessness, the global shaking of nations, the moral collapse, and the aligning of powers are all written on the lines of these final pages. We are not at the beginning or the middle of the book. We are standing at the edge of its conclusion. The weight of this reality is not meant to instill despair, but to awaken urgency. The last page means that the storyline has already reached its climax. The tension is at its highest. The next movement will not be another 1,000-year wait for the next chapter. It will be the fulfillment of what saints and prophets have longed for across the ages. The rapture is not a distant subplot in a far-off chapter. It is the scene that is about to unfold before our eyes. The closing of the scroll is not a slow, gentle act. In the book of Revelation, when the seals are broken, events move swiftly and without pause. This is why the present time feels so accelerated, why one world-shaking event seems to follow another in rapid succession. It is because we are in the final moments before the hand of God turns and ends that last page. And when that page turns, the world will never be the same. The church will be taken, the restraining influence removed, and the events foretold for centuries will cascade upon the earth. Those who belong to the bridegroom will be with him, and those who remain will face the time of tribulation spoken of by the prophets. This is why the last page matters. It is the point beyond which no change of mind, no new preparation, no delayed repentance will alter the outcome. The time to prepare is not when the page turns, but now, while the ink of mercy is still wet on the page we are living in. We stand at the very threshold with the author's hand poised. The scroll is almost shut. The last page is before us. And when it is turned, eternity will begin. Readiness is not an option in this hour. It is the dividing line between those who will be taken and those who will be left. The call to readiness is woven through the scriptures like a thread of gold, running from the prophets of old to the final words of the New Testament. It is not a casual suggestion, not a gentle encouragement. It is a command from the one who knows the hour and who has warned that the day will come suddenly, without announcement, like a thief in the night. Readiness begins in the heart. It is the posture of one who lives with the awareness that the next breath could be the moment the trumpet sounds. It is the mindset of the bride in the ancient wedding tradition, who did not know the day or the hour when her bridegroom would appear, but who kept her lamp filled and her garments pure. In that world, to be caught unprepared was to lose everything. The door to the wedding feast would be shut, and no amount of knocking or pleading could open it again. To be ready is to live in such a way that nothing in this present world holds you back. It means your faith is alive, your walk is pure, and your priorities are shaped by eternity rather than by the fleeting distractions of the age. It means there is no hidden sin left unconfessed, no bitterness left to poison the soul, no divided loyalty between God and the world. Readiness is not a feeling, it is a condition, a spiritual state of constant watchfulness. This is why the warning is so urgent. The signs are converging, the last page of the scroll is turning, and the final sign has appeared. When the call comes, there will be no time to run back and make things right, no chance to gather oil for an empty lamp. The parable of the 10 virgins is clear. 5 were wise and ready, 5 were foolish and unprepared. All were invited, all had lamps, all had the appearance of belonging, but only those prepared in advance entered in. Readiness is also about focus. In a world where the noise of news, politics, entertainment, and personal ambition fills the air, the call is to tune your ear to the sound of the approaching bridegroom. It means choosing what will feed your spirit rather than what will lull you to sleep. The danger of the last days is not only the persecution of the faithful, but the distraction of the faithful. The slow, subtle drift into complacency where the things of God are pushed aside for the things of the moment. The call to readiness is not meant to be a burden, but a joy. To live ready is to live in the light of hope, knowing that every sunrise could be the last one we see on this earth before seeing His face. It is to live free from the chains of this world, to hold lightly to possessions, positions, and plans, and to hold tightly to the promises of God. It is the life of one who says, "Come, Lord Jesus," not with dread, but with anticipation. When the trumpet sounds and the voice calls, those who are ready will not scramble in panic. They will rise in joy. They will not be caught unaware, for their eyes have been watching, their hearts have been longing, and their lives have been prepared. This is why the call is now. Readiness cannot be postponed. The time to prepare is not tomorrow, for tomorrow is not promised. The moment to be ready is today, while the door of grace is still open before the cry at midnight echoes through the earth. The hour of His coming is not far off in the distance. It is standing at the threshold. The imminence of the event means that there is nothing left in the prophetic calendar that must take place before the bridegroom calls His people home. The stage is set, the actors are in position, the last sign has appeared, and the next sound we hear could be the voice like a trumpet, summoning the redeemed to meet Him in the air. Imminence is the reality that the rapture is not only certain, but near, so near that it could happen at any moment. This truth has echoed through the centuries, but never has it carried the weight it does now. For generations, believers have looked for the day, longing for the fulfillment of the promise. But they saw the signs from a distance, like travelers catching sight of a mountain range far on the horizon. Now, that horizon has moved. The peaks are no longer distant, they are towering over us, close enough to see their detail. We are no longer walking toward prophecy. We are standing in the midst of it. Imminence changes everything about the way we live. When you know that an event could happen at any moment, you do not drift through life as if time is endless. You prepare. You stay alert. You keep your heart in order and your lamp burning. This is why the warning of Scripture is not to calculate the day or the hour, but to live every day as if it could be the day. For when the moment comes, it will come suddenly, without pause, without warning. The voice will call, and in the twinkling of an eye, everything will change. The nearness of the rapture also means that the window of opportunity is closing. The time to proclaim the gospel, to reach the lost, to reconcile with those estranged, to walk in obedience. That time is now. For when the bridegroom appears, the day of grace for the church's mission will end, and a new and terrible chapter will begin on the earth. Those who are ready will be taken into the presence of the Lord. Those who are not will face the tribulation that follows. There is an urgency that comes from imminence that cannot be imitated. It is the difference between a soldier hearing that war might one day come and a soldier hearing that the enemy is already at the gates. We are not in the one day stage. We are in the any moment stage. Every sign, every shift in the world, every tremor in the nations is pointing in the same direction, pressing the same truth into our hearts. The time is at hand. And for those who belong to Him, this truth is not cause for fear, but for joy. It means that the long wait is almost over. It means that the promises made by the one who cannot lie are about to be fulfilled. It means that we are closer to seeing His face than to seeing another generation pass. The imminence of the rapture is not a shadow hanging over us. It is the dawn breaking through the darkness, the announcement that the night is almost gone. This is why the message must be spoken clearly. Be ready now, live as though the trumpet will sound before the day is done. Do not delay in setting your heart right, in walking in holiness, in reaching out to those who do not yet know Him. For when the moment comes, it will be too late to prepare. The door will close, the scroll will turn its final page, and eternity will begin. The nearness of that moment is not just a doctrine to believe, it is a reality to live. The time is now, and He is at the door.